Hi, welcome back. It's Laura at Hyperstamper. This is truly a special journal. If you saw my haul video 2 days ago, I showed you this book here that was, is quite dilapidated, but there were some beautiful plates in it. So I had pulled out this one, which is so unbelievably beautiful. And I searched all day today through my collection to find the perfect book to mount it on. And I chose this one, which is the 1928 publication of My Book House. And this was actually the treasure chest book, but the picture on the front, which is underneath here, is of a hunter. So not the best image for a junk journal. So this beautiful little fairy here, butterfly fairy, kissing this little mouse, is now my journal, and it's stuffed with antique and vintage authentic ephemera. Lots of it is fairy themed, and other is just vintage and antique ephemera that I've collected. And I loved making the bangle, so I used ribbons that match the cover, and I used vintage beads that also match the cover. So let me show you the inside. I'm very excited. Look at this beautiful embossed title. Isn't that fabulous? And the back, oh, it's just wonderful. Almost 100 years old this book is. The original book plate is in here, but whoever this book belonged to did not fill it in, so that's blank. So if you are the happy owner of this, which this is going on Etsy momentarily, which hyperstamper.etsy.com, free shipping on everything in my shop, you can put your name here. So there's the original first pages of the book, and the publication date is here, 1928. This is really fun. This I got out of a 1920s book on for children, and it's how to draw a fairy. So there is a little fairy page. So this has been in my fairy envelope for quite a long time. Just got another little spot up there to journal, and over here. And then this came from a 1920s children's book. It's that hard fuzzy cardstock that I love. Put some antique paper on the back, and it's the fairies exhibition. Look at this beautiful little fairy asleep on the hill. Isn't that beautiful with the web back there? More original pages from the book. And then I just have, for fun, a 1953, August 7th, 1953, distributors and packers. And then this is a canasta score sheet from a vintage game there for journaling. And then here's a lovely page from another book, The Fairies. You can see the fairies down there at the bottom. It's really quite special. And just another little poem here, Children with an Elf here. And then that is a journaling envelope I made. More antique paper here. And look at this lovely one. This is from a 1960s edition of My Book House. And it's the beautiful images there of the fairies as well in the forest. Look at this flower made of little faces. And this one is from the 20s, and it's very precious. Chapter 3, Fairies and Elves. Look at these images. They're just so sweet. And as well on the back, the little fairy babies on the horses. Oh my gosh. Anyways, sorry, I digress. Okay, stuck it back in. This is so special. Crochet pocket, 1920s children's book page. Here's another pocket here with a lovely little fairy poem here, and another one over here. So that's just tucked into a little pocket here, 1950s postage stamp page. And here's another little fairy story here. In the fairest of valleys, there's nobody sad. And that's called The Valley of Content. A little child colored that many, many years ago. Just a little vintage playing card here that I thought was fun for this journal. 1920 children book page. Look at the drum is walking. It's just so enchanted. Little vintage recipe there. And another fairy page here. And over here, I've got another, you can just see them hiding, the little fairies and gnomes down here. And I turned that into a journaling envelope. And I tucked it into a 1940s children's book page. This is a 1940s Theater Arts magazine back cover. And vintage paper here, a 1950s doily magazine here. And I chose this one of the Royal Botanical Gardens. This is early 1920s. And the colors are spectacular. And then here is another fairy page. I just had so many books with fairies. I bet you there's a dozen different books that I sourced these from. And this is one, it's from a book I had called Unknown Fairies of Canada. So that is the title page there. You can see how old it is. It's extremely old, but I just thought that was fun. So that's because I'm from Canada, so somebody can have a little souvenir for me in there. And there is another beautiful fairy page, The Woodman's Axe. Isn't that gorgeous? And then another beautiful children's book page here and here, little story about the mouse. And then we have two antique 100-year-old banknotes down here. And I made this pocket out of a bunch of scraps. Isn't that cool? So it's kind of a nice texture. This is a 1800s book page there. And then this is just a little children's book page here on that fuzzy cardstock as well. And there is a pocket back here, but you can put whatever you want in there. I just didn't glue the top so you could have another secret spot. Wonderful cluster up here. Craft and Craftsman from a dictionary. Another early 1900s book page there. More of that doily book here. I've got two tags stuffed in here. And this tag has two little mini tags in it. And then this is just an antique book page turned into a little journaling tag. Stuff them back into there. Wonderful ads here from 1940 for the theater world. Look at these little fairies down here. Look at how cute they are with their little teeny tiny fairy wings. It's just so fun. And there's that fuzzy cardstock again. Here is a 1940s Arborite countertop sample from the original Arborite company, Chartreuse and Coral. I just thought those were pretty. Wanted that to be in there, mounted on top of another children's book page from the 40s. More clusters. That's a vintage botanical book page and a vintage recipe card here, the index card. And then this is the spine of a 120-year-old book. And then in here, this is from October 31st, 1895. It's not fairy related, however, it is fabulous. Our gifts, 5,000 watches, but look at the back here. How beautiful is that? It's just lovely. So you could use that in mixed media work, or just enjoy something that is, 130 years old. Another fairy page here. Bring that up. Whoop, whoop. Aren't they pretty? And that is a vintage book, not antique, but definitely vintage. And then I just made this fun little tag here out of some of my fabrics. And here's another vintage magazine page made into a journaling tag, and this lovely, lovely children's book page here with the butterfly on it. Another children's book page here. This is a how to type lesson book page, which is really cool. And then this one here is just an old magazine page. And this one is, whoop, let me just open this up for you here. Look how sweet that is. And that is from the 40s. I just love it. These girls hugging the trees. Wish there was more of that going on. And this pocket here is made from an old page that is titled A Teasing Kindly Fairy. And then I've got this fairy page here as well. Gorgeous, gorgeous illustration there. And the antique paper again on the back for journaling. Vintage dictionary page. And this is the dust cover of a wonderful book. It's not fairy, but it's definitely an enchantment. There's this little guy here, and the story is about him with all these giant animals around him. And then you can open this up and you can journal inside there. More vintage dictionary pages. And this is amazing. So this is from 1930. It's from the photo album that I always use. And this little girl is in her Halloween costume, and it's a fairy. Can you believe it? Can you see the little wings there? Like, that's crazy, right? Beautiful page there of the ducks. That's a real special one. I have one more of another girl who's also a fairy. That little children's get together. And that brings us to the end. So I hope you love it as much as I loved making it. So you can go to hyperstamper.etsy.com, and please don't forget to subscribe.